So I'm currently sitting in my bedroom on the floor. I'm about to tell you a little bit about myself, but first I just wanted to thank Laura and Marissa for allowing me to be a part of this beautiful campaign. It's an honor to even be able to talk and share a little bit about my experiences and my passion for this month. Um, but first, a little bit about me. My name is Maria, and I'm currently a master's student up in New York. I'm studying mental health counseling. And I'm only a first year student, but I get to work with kiddos in the fall, and I'm beyond excited for that. But one of the biggest reasons I guess I'm passionate about SAM is that I currently work for the Sexual Violence Response Office at Columbia University, and I am absolutely thrilled to be a part of a program and an organization that really focuses on outreach, prevention, and advocacy. And I think this month is one of the most important times for us to allow survivors, victim survivors, to have their voices heard and to share their stories and really get out the word, so that we can start making a difference in this community, and so that we can really let people know that we are here for them and that they are not alone, and that we can start making differences by changing things, and really allowing others to have their voice heard, especially in times like this. And so I'm just excited to share a little bit more about my experiences, and I'm so excited to be a part of this campaign, and I can't wait to talk to y'all more.
Guys, welcome back to Save. So I hope you enjoyed Maria's introduction. This is Maria. I've known Maria since, wow, forever. First grade? Yeah, since first grade. And so I'm just going to interview Maria about what she does, her degree, and some of the work she's been doing for Sexual Assault Awareness Month. So first things first, Maria, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So your master's is in mental health counseling. And the first thing I want to ask is, what do you want to do with this degree?
Great question. One I've been thinking about for several weeks now. It's kind of crazy just thinking about my journey and how often my interests are constantly changing because I always feel so inspired by what I'm learning, the people I'm surrounded by, as I'm taking. But right now, I am very interested in working with kids and young adults potentially, and I would love to do trauma-informed work with them. So it kind of, I'm open to whatever that might look like, looking at development and child-parent relationships, but I'm just so excited to learn more and kind of evolve, and just gain more interest in the subject and learn as much as I can so I can further, look into my career paths.
Wow, okay. That was amazing. That that makes me really happy. We're like in Save, we're very passionate about the trauma-focused therapy, and that's amazing that that's something you're actually pursuing and working on currently. So you said you've learned a lot of things and your path changes. So far in your first year, what do you think the most important message that you've learned from starting your classes and working through this degree?
Oh gosh. I think one of the most important things I've learned, my program is so fantastic about social justice, and awareness, and just being aware of like what's going on with you, as well as doing your best to know yourself and how that relates to others. So I think the most important, I can't even clarify as like one big thing that I've learned just because it's been so much. But I think I've truly come to like know my identity through my program and how that impacts myself and how that impacts, how I'll be as a counselor, as a therapist with other people. So I just think the biggest thing is trying to begin to understand who you are and where your values are and how that impacts, relationships and people, and things like that, and just learning to love yourself and be gentle with yourself on this journey, whether that be whatever career path you're going on. But it is constantly evolving and learning, and it's going to be tough. It's been a tough journey so far, but it's just one of the most rewarding ones.
Wow, okay. Another amazing answer from Maria. Now, guys, if you're listening this and you are a victim survivor of trauma, what Maria said is really important. Healing is a lot about evolving, changing. Life you cannot control, but as long as you just try your best, work through it, and like she said, just be there. Oh, thank you so much, Maria. Okay, so a big topic that we see a lot now, especially with COVID-19, is physical health versus mental health. Do you have anything that you think is important to share about that topic?
Yeah. Oh gosh, I think it's so crazy now, especially during COVID. Obviously, situations are different among everyone, but I think it is just as important to take care of yourself mentally as it is physically during this time. That will look differently for each and every person. You know, I think every person has a different reaction to what's going on in their situations. Home situations may be different. Like even as you covered in other topics, some environments aren't safe for people, unfortunately, to be in as they are now. And so I think even just knowing yourself and knowing what's going on for you is important to recognize, but then knowing how you best cope. Basically, whether that be going outside and going for a bike ride, which is what I love to do, you know, journaling has been a big thing for a lot of people I know. Even just getting back in touch with things that truly make you happy, whether that be things like playing guitar or cooking or, you know, even just taking that time for yourself. But I want to stress that it is so important during this time to, you know, it's important that there's a we-ness to this. You're not alone in what's going on. And I think that's one of the biggest things to realize, that, you know, everyone's going through this, but it does look different for everyone. But just taking the time for yourself. And we know that everyone is out here looking out for each other and being there. But I think it's so important just to heal and to, you know, calm yourself, whether you have anxieties, depression, things like that. Like do what you need to do for you during this time, basically.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. I'm literally going to just take that clip and make sure people hear that part, because that is so important. What Maria just said is do what you need. Coping is not the same for everyone because we are all different people, and healing is different for everyone. Okay, so the last question, kind of to do more with your degree, is what would you suggest to those people who are considering getting counseling for their mental health but are scared or don't really know where to look to?
Yeah, counseling can be a very intimidating thing, even with something myself. Sometimes I struggle, even just admitting to myself, like, hey, like, it's okay to need help and it's okay to go to others for that. Because sometimes I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves and we think that we have to do it all by ourselves. And that can be the scariest part. But even just reaching out and even talking to friends about it, you know, learning about their experiences, learning how it's helped them potentially, and having like a little support system. Because I say us as counselors, hopefully future counselors, like we are here to listen, and people want to listen and be there for you. And I think that's the most important thing going in, is that the therapists, the counselors, any type of mental health resource you are seeking, is that they are there for you. And it's going to be scary. It can be intimidating, especially with challenges. Even teletherapy is a totally different experience. But the thing is that people are there to listen and be there for you. And the great thing is that teletherapy is as effective as regular therapy. That's research data. I know y'all are very big into that, and that is shown to be just as effective. So that shouldn't be that barrier, you know, for you. Just go out and make that first step, and even just do some research to see what makes you most comfortable. But there are people out there who do want to help and who are there to listen.
Yeah, yeah, and exactly like what Maria just said, telehealth is now an option. And we see with new technologies, there are always ways to reach out to counselors. And if you have social anxiety and you don't want to physically talk to someone, there's always texting services too. And I know personally, I just found some different virtual therapies for people with PTSD around EMDR therapy. So look into that and just find your best healing process that you can do at home. Okay, wow. So Maria's degree is amazing. That is what we are learning right now. And also that your mental health, as always, is super important. Kind of more moving towards our topic of Sexual Assault Awareness Month. So Maria, you work at the Sexual Violence Response Office at Columbia. First of all, thank you. People like you are the reason I was able to get so much help. And it's just amazing seeing the spark of you going out and working in the force for this. I have chills, literally. I'm so proud of her. First question, how did you get involved in this line of work, and what is your position currently?
So I'm currently is an administrative intern for the Sexual Violence Response Office. So I'm the person who will pick up the phone, and I will direct people to the resources, whether that be survivor advocates, or, you know, my supervisor who's there to help, other resources in the moment, even taking in walk-ins. And the bigger part of my job also is doing outreach events. And so obviously right now that's a little bit different, but we're trying to do as much events as we can, especially during SAM, things like Denim Day, and looking at healthy relationships and what consent looks like, whether that be through films, whether that be through crafting activities, as much as we can. And that's probably one of the favorite parts of my job, has just been learning to interact with people and learning resources and techniques that I can, you know, help with people, or even just learn from other clubs, organizations, things like that, has been one of the most rewarding things. But the reason I got into this job is, it's crazy. I kind of like reflect back on the opportunity that when it came to me, and I thought like, wow, this is probably one of the most perfect moments to stumble across an opportunity like this, because I have unfortunately had several friends, very close friends to me, who were victim survivors of sexual violence and assault. And many of the times they said that the system had failed them. And it breaks my heart right now talking about it, because that can be one of the biggest barriers for people, is that they go and seek help and they aren't given what they deserve, what they should receive from services often. And the biggest part of that is either victim blaming or people not believing that something traumatic happened to them. And I think that's one of the worst parts, and something that we're trying to eradicate through organizations and through people using their voices. And so when I saw this opportunity, I was like, this is my opportunity to be a part of a system that is there to help others advocate for themselves, to give them voices. And I just get chills all over my body just talking about it, because I truly want to be that support, and I want people to listen and know that they are being listened to, that they are being heard, and to be a part of an organization that is so adamant on giving people an empowering, you know, position, empowering their own voices and to be heard, especially during this month, has been such a beautiful thing. So yeah.
Okay, first of all, thank you so much for sharing that with us. It takes a lot of courage sharing your story, whether you're the one affected or your friends are, because this, as we know, is a very traumatic thing. I also have chills with Maria talking about this. It is so amazing what you're doing, and everything you're saying is absolutely right. Sometimes it's hard to face the fact that the system doesn't always work. I know that I personally am still involved in the system, and just waiting to see an outcome can be really difficult. But the fact that you stepped up and you went and you helped people is just so amazing. And just thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Okay, whew, chills. So a little less more about that, but not on the same path that we were going. But what type of training did you go through, and what do you think the most important thing that you learned from your training was?
Yeah, I think the most important takeaway is that even for my training, I did victims assistance training. So it was like this whole super long online module program. And I also received in-person training from my supervisors on how to properly answer phone, do intake, you know, receive people who come into our office. But the most important thing, honestly, is that it's an ongoing training constantly. We are always constantly being involved in new events, new situations, new people, things like that. And so it's something that you're always supposed to continually being informed on. Trauma informed, just informed in how to work with people, you know, situations, the community that this affects, which is everyone. And I think it's just one of those ongoing processes that we can never stop learning from, doing research with, looking into how we can better ourselves as individuals who are doing this kind of work, and even systems and organizations and like that. So the training is always ongoing, I would say. And that's the most important part, is just being open to continue learning and how to better ourselves so that we can help others, you know.
Wow, thank you. Yes, it is very important to learn. And I kind of got an idea from that, from like the situation that I'm currently going through. What do you say to maybe bigger organizations, for the people that are the ones being reported to, like Title IX offices or police officers? How would you suggest that, if they're not actually provided the training, that they could on their own look for training to stay trauma informed?
Yeah, I think that's something that's so easy as, you know, Googling, you know. Thankfully, technology these days is right there. But I think it's even just looking at conferences to go to, even going to like small events that, like, I would say like my organization constantly has things going on. But even just looking at your community, learning from people, getting involved, in just reaching out in your community and learning from individuals alone can be a form of, you know, training. And obviously you want to get properly trained. You want to learn how to do this because we want to be competent in our work. And that's the most important thing. But even just the smallest things of reaching out. And there's tons of online trainings that you could do and probably get certified through. So yeah.
Wow, okay, thank you. Do you think that it's important for people who are being reported to get extensive trauma training as well?
I think that is very important for people to properly know how to handle situations. And I think it can also be very, people always ask me when I tell them that they're doing, they're like, wow, that must be very hard work. And it's like, yes, we are doing it for individuals, but it's also learning how to take care of yourself doing this type of work. I think even with someone I'm, not directly in contact doing hotline service, but even knowing how to take care of yourself when you're doing that. But obviously you do want to be fully trained to the best of your abilities and ongoing training, as I mentioned before, so that you can help those you're working with most. But yes, I think extensive training is a key role in learning how to help people through this.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. And then kind of different, but for those who are hesitant to ask for help, or to those who don't know the process or worried about reporting, do you have anything to say with just reaching out to the support line or suggestions?
Yeah, it's a great question because I know that is a barrier for a lot of people. And it's something that I just want, speaking directly to people, is that you are loved and you are wanted, and we want to help you through healing, honestly. And even every person's journey is going to look differently. And I applaud you alone for kind of just taking the steps and for reaching out if you can. And I think that's a beautiful thing, because that alone is a very hard thing. I mean, I know people who have struggled with that. And so I think alone, just taking a baby step and even just talking to one person can start this journey. And like you said, I kind of loved how y'all called it victim survivor, because it is a journey. You're a survivor, and that doesn't mean that you just get over it immediately. Obviously that's not how it works. That's not how this journey of healing works for everyone. And so I think alone, just taking the baby steps and doing it on your own pace at your own time, where you feel most comfortable and ready to do it, is the most important. But reaching out and doing the little things, I think, is how we can best help heal. And that can go for any type of situation. But yeah, I would say just start by reaching out to someone that you trust, and that can lead to a doorway of beautiful opportunities to help you heal.
Wow. Yeah. I definitely agree so much with Maria on that. And just reach out to people, reach out to us, reach out to services like where Maria works. There is so much help, and you are never alone. And just like a last thing, because I know that we here with SAVE, we provide a lot of resources, but I wanted to know if there are any resources that you suggest for people to really look into that you think or have seen work in the past.
Yeah, I think right now I actually just had a project for work where I was doing resources, especially during COVID. And I think there's so many important hotlines out there, even texting, that are so important. And I think that you provided numbers before in your last video, which has been so fantastic. But even just Googling the numbers that you can reach out to immediately, because sometimes I think it's hard to call someone and then not get an answer for 2 business days, and you're like, what the heck, I'm reaching out now. And there are people out there that are 24/7, that there are hotlines out there for any type of situation. So my recommendation is just simply to Google those hotlines right away, or there's numbers out there on websites and things out there that can have lists of resources available now that are online.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you just Google like sexual violence, sexual assault, you should ideally find something. And another suggestion I have, if you have the feeling right now to Google that, do it now, because I know personally that I put it off. I keep telling myself, okay, I'll do it tomorrow. Okay, I'll do it later. And if we do that to ourselves, sometimes we're going to lose that motivation. And I know that's not for everyone, but for me, I do that. And so just when you're ready, Google it, find those numbers, or look above at the video about COVID-19 and healing from trauma. Maria, this has been so informative for me, and I am just so amazed to see how we've been friends for so long and our paths have just kind of bumped right back together with our passions. Before we close out the interview, is there anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to say thank you for all that you're doing. You and Marissa both have started this beautiful campaign, and it's an honor to even be a part of it, just this little bit. But just everyone out there, I hope you keep following these guys, especially during the month of SAM. It's just so important to reach out, and now is your time to just kind of feel more empowered and use your voice this month, whether you be an advocate, a victim survivor yourself, or someone you love or know. This is the time now more than ever to just reach out and start making differences, make little waves.
Yeah, and to add off that, be empowerment, be what you want to be. But lastly, just remember, be, because you guys are all super important, and we here at SAVE love you so much. And I know Maria has worked with so many different amazing people that are also super passionate about this, but it tells you that you're not alone and help is out there. And there are so many people that really want you guys to make it and you guys to feel empowered and feel like you're not alone. So thank you so much, Maria. Thank you guys all for watching this. Honestly, this is so far one of my favorite videos to make because I just learned a lot myself. Yeah,